Okay, so we're now recording. Welcome back to the Red Dice Diaries RPG podcast. I'm just sat here in the garden with my lovely wife Hannah, about to have a quick drink. And what's up?
Drink ale.
As you may or may not be aware if you follow us on social media, our oven is kaputski. It's gone to that great big silicone heaven in the sky. So what Hannah decided to do, and what we've just done, is we built a small bonfire in the little fire pit we've got in our back garden. We cooked some sausages over it, or rather the emulsified meat tubes you get from the corner shop. We've just had them in a nice sandwich. We've got some jacket potatoes wrapped up in foil. Currently it's sat cooling down. Looking forward to tucking into them. And we thought, since we're sat by a campfire having a drink, why don't we talk about some of those campfire stories, you know, when you talk about your favourite characters and your favourite games and stuff like that.
And since this weekend, for the last 15 years, pretty much, we would have been at our regular LARP event.
Yeah.
I wanted to suggest to John that we start with a story about a campfire. But just before we get into this story, the person who we're going to talk about, we're going to call him George.
Indeed. Names have been changed to protect the innocent.
We're going to talk about George a lot while we do this. It's not always the same George.
Okay, so do you want me to go through it, or do you want to tell it?
Well, I'll start. You jump in when you're ready,
Set the stage and I'll chip in a few suggestions.
So it's the first or second event that we're playing as our new group of greenskins.
Orcs and that.
We're loving it. We're all there in our costumes. It's brilliant.
All got giant football pads on, padding, stuff like that. Look well cool.
John's wearing loads of heavy chainmail.
The weight of that was less cool, but it did look cool.
One of our friends has been wearing more armour than he weighs normally.
Yeah, he had a massive suit of like metal. I think it was lamellar on.
Yeah.
And he's only a wee lad himself, so the actual armour weighed more than he did without the armour, if you can imagine that. But he still wore it like a madhead.
He did. It's time for dinner. I'm getting the food on. I've got a whole meal planned for the group of 10, and it involves doing basically 2 pots of stuff on a gas stove.
You know, one of those little one-ring, like, camping ones you get, the little gas bottle that goes in it.
The gas stove runs out of gas.
Standard.
I reach out, I pick up another one, I stick it in, I take my lighter, I go to light the gas stove, and instead of the flame coming out of the ring on the top, it shoots out of the side. Now, I'm not entirely sure whether this is because I've not put the safety on the gas stove like a numpty.
No, I think the mechanism
or whether
that clips
it's
it in was
because
damaged.
something went wrong with the stove.
Yeah.
But if you're cooking at a LARP event, double check your stove every time you change that gas.
Otherwise,
Just
you might
for me.
find yourself with an impromptu flamethrower instead of the stove you're looking for.
We're sitting in this bell tent with a 6-foot jet of flame shooting across the middle.
And it was only a little bell tent. It was like 5 man, wasn't it? Or something like that.
It was a 5-metre bell tent, so it's not a huge one, but it's not a tiny one either.
Yeah.
And all the guys are sat round in a circle, and by some miracle, this jet manages to shoot across, like, the centre of this circle, but not quite touch the pole. So it's not actually hit anything at all.
Yeah, that was a small miracle.
It's just starting to scorch the ground sheet. Everybody has a different reaction. The little guy, who'd been wearing all of the chainmail, he picks up his beer and tries to put it out with liquid. This was not an ideal solution because the gas in the beer added to the gas for the thing.
Yeah, it didn't work out.
And the ground sheet started to catch.
Yeah, that was a great plan from Wee Ploppy.
Our friend George, he was a hero.
Well,
Go on, tell him what George did.
Let me tell you
John.
about my reaction first. Because I was sat there and I was wearing like American football pads. And because of all my heavy chain, I'd been leant forward and I'd not realised that my chain had basically been cutting off the circulation to my legs. So I went to stand up to go and try and help, and immediately my legs cramped up underneath me and I got pins and needles all throughout my legs. So I pretty much went, well, there's nothing I could do, and just sat back down again. Meanwhile, George, bless him, He leaps up, and he ain't never seen George. George is about my sort of build. He's a fairly big lad. And he was out through that tent door like you ain't never seen anyone move quickly. Then as he goes through the door, I don't know whether he did it by a reflex or what he was thinking. Or whether
I'm not even sure he actually did.
He most certainly did. He most certainly did.
Because we've told that story so many times.
He went out through the tent flap, and whether it was by instinct or whether he wanted to sacrifice us to the fire god so he could get away, he zipped up the tent and then like dashed off across the field like he was Speedy Gonzales.
So George having zipped us inside, I'm panicking at this point, and I don't normally panic about this, and I'm normally very good with fire, but I like my fire to be like in logs, like the one we've got here. Gas flames, not so much. And I was in quite a flammable costume, which I should have thought of before I started cooking.
Luckily, we were saved by our friend Bongle, who he had sort of like a mech boy style sort of kit, big welding mask, stuff like that. And his costume just happened to have these huge welder's gloves. So he literally picked up this thing, which was now entirely on fire. It was like a flaming mass of metal. Just picked it up in his hands, walked outside, and proceeded to stamp the living shit out of it on the grass. By this point in time, I'd massaged some blood back into my legs, and I was heading out of the tent.
And our other friend, also a true hero in this situation, picked up his blanket, which I believe he's still got, and used it to help me snuff out the rest of the flames that were on the floor.
Indeed. So I head outside to see Bongle, and he's literally stood over what looks like a tiny car has just crashed into something. It's just it looks like someone's taken like a piece of paper and scrunched it up. And he went, yeah, I'll probably be all right. You probably still be able to like unbend it and use it. And I was like, nah, Bongle, it's gone, mate. It's gone. And that is the story of how George tried to heroically sacrifice us to the fire gods, and how we manufactured an impromptu flamethrower in a tent. Good times, good times.
He was a hero in the line of fire. And to be fair, he was in quite a flammable costume too.
Oh yeah, we all were. So anyway, we've talked a bit about
fire safety at LARP.
We've talked a bit about the LARP story. So about tabletop then, come. While we're sitting there having a drink around this lovely campfire, what's your favourite tabletop character you've played, love?
See, the thing with me in tabletop is that I've played so many fantasy games that I have like 3 stock characters that I use for fantasy games, and they are like generic healer medic type, whatever the system allows, bard, or barbarian, preferably barbarian cat girl.
Yeah, I'm never sure why people like playing cat people. I don't get it.
Because in spite of the fact that I've never actually played one at LARP or made a cat outfits look cool. Humanoid cats look cool.
Doesn't really do it for me.
Except in the, 2019 movie. That movie requires a great deal of alcohol to enjoy.
She means the modern remake of Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats, which is dank.
I very much liked the barbarian cat girl that I played in the game that you ran, where we did quite a bit of time travel and stuff.
Yeah.
I was just a barbarian from the lion tribe. It was like a totem. But then at some point I managed to wangle lycanthropy, and I was like, I'm going to be a were-lion. There's stats for him in the book and everything. Were-lion. And unfortunately, this did mean that I was so utterly rock hard that if the player group faced any challenge without my character present, it was going to be a lot scarier than would normally be the case. And if they faced a challenge with my character present, I'd generally just walk up and splat it.
See, this was in my youthful days of GMing, where when my significant other said they wanted to play some weird, ridiculous combo, my by now stock response of, no, fuck off, hadn't yet formed. Although, to be fair, we are on about doing a 1-to-1 Dolmenwood game soon. Gavin Norman's kindly let me in on the play test, so because I can't run another full game, just ain't got the time or the 3 days. I'm on about running a one-on-one game with Hannah in the Dolmenwood. Might try some of the weird races and classes and whatnot from that. To be honest, it's an idea I got off a guy called Mike, Chicago Wiz Online, who in his blog runs a one-to-one game with his missus. Mm-hmm. I've been thinking for a bit, that might be an interesting idea, you know. Give us something a bit different to do rather than watch telly and whatnot.
Yeah, it'd be fun to do. I'm looking forward to giving it a try.
Yeah, likewise.
I'm also looking forward to coming up in my Star Trek game. One of the other GMs is going to be taking over, and I'll be playing.
Yeah, because you're like round robin sort of GM, aren't you?
Go on, ask me what my player character is.
It's going to be like a cat girl or something. Some gang like that, or a Klingon or something.
It's Cation.
I don't know what that is. Is that a cat girl?
Yeah.
Right.
What am I playing in Scum and Villainy, John?
Oh, the medic.
What do I play when we LT? Healer 2, Rituals 1. I'm really disappointed we can't go this year.
Whereas I wasn't planning to go anyway. However, since, to be honest, I'd rather run some tabletop. I've blown a bit cool with LARP at the minute. Might come around to being a bit more enthusiastic for it again at some point in the future.
It's never about the game, John. It's about the people that you see while you're there.
But you see, I'm about the game. If I'm going to pay a ridiculous sum of money to play a game, I want to play that game.
It's not that ridiculous a sum of money.
You're right. It's not, actually. But to be honest, I'm enjoying more my tabletop at the minute. But I am disappointed for you because I know you were really looking forward to it. And obviously, luckily, I've just not long before the pandemic broke out, I got my licence back. Thankfully, I'm now classified okay to drive due to like my epilepsy and stuff like that. So we were really looking forward to like me being able to take Hannah to the events and not having to worry about transport and hassle people for lifts. Also being able to go places. But
being able to offer a few lifts to the people that we had
unfortunately
from before.
Wasn't destined to be. Like I say, a couple of weeks after I got my licence, the pandemic came in. But to be honest, we're really lucky. We're both pretty healthy.
Yeah.
We've got a house. We've got each other in the house, so we cannot really grumble. And obviously, our hearts and our prayers go out to anyone who has been tragically affected by this pandemic. We're wishing you all the best, guys.
Yeah.
See, now the unfortunate thing is, because I've got such a horrendously poor memory, I don't tend to remember many characters. I just remember like odd incidents from the character's life. Because whenever like a character dies or a game ends, I'm already thinking about what's the next character I'm going to play in the next game, rather than sort of mourning my previous one. One of my favourite stories is when I played in Cody Mazza's Barrow Maze game, and I was like, okay, I don't really know what to play. It's an OSR game exploring these barrow mazes. I found a website that just generates like a random first level old school D&D character. I was like, boom. It was like, right, you're a dwarf. I was like, okay, sweet, no problem. And it was Delving Deeper was the system it was using, and in that system, like in the original D&D, all weapons pretty much do like D6 damage. Doesn't matter what it is. So, like, you know, you punch someone, D6 damage. You stab someone, D6 damage. You shoot someone, D6 damage. We went to this tavern, and I forget the reason why. Like, someone gave us some grief, gave us some like beef, and maybe they stole something off us, and they ran away. So obviously we gave chase, but we hadn't got any weapons on us because you weren't allowed to take weapons into this settlement. So I was like, oh right, okay, I can't catch up with them because I'm a dwarf. I've got little stumpy legs. Right, okay, I'm gonna look for something I can like throw. I'll throw it. Oh yeah, I'll break off this stool leg. I'll throw it between their legs. It'll leg them up, and that'll give me time to like catch up with him. So I wang this chair leg at this guy. Like pretty much crit my roll. Roll a 6 on like the D6 damage. Get D6 whatever. Down he goes, brown bread, and that was him dealt with. And I still get people who are playing in that session sort of joking to me about now. So when we were doing Purple Worm the other day, and we were talking about weapon damage, Colin was like, "Oh, well, we know about John and his chair legs." So that I very much enjoyed. What other characters have I enjoyed? I am enjoying playing Zenith, my sort of Jedi / Mystic in Scum and Villainy. That's very entertaining. I'm also enjoying Johannes' Call of Cthulhu game at the minute, where I'm playing a sort of diet Oscar Wilde sort of arty character, which I'm quite enjoying because it's not the normal sort of D&D style character. It's a bit more investigative, a bit more social based. So, you know, you get to talk a bit more with NPCs and whatnot. So that's quite entertaining.
Well, I'm still trying to get you to play an NPC in my game at some point. I think that anyone who's listening ought to make a suggestion for what sort of a Star Trek character John should enjoy. We'll see if we can persuade him to do it.
Good luck with that, audience. I wish you well. Let's see, what other characters have I enjoyed? I played loads of vampire characters, and I've pretty much enjoyed all of them for various different reasons. It's only fairly recently again though that I've actually started to like since Johannes has started to run a few games, that I've really started to like play in games though.
Yeah, because you've done an awful lot of one-offs where you've been playing recently, and then not any like campaigns as such for
it was like
any length of time.
I did enjoy my character in Johannes' Stars Light Number game that we played before Cthulhu and Not Scum and Villainy. That's on the sort of temporary hiatus, where I started off playing sort of like the Kaylee of the group, you know, the sort of engineer woman for like a starship, and then due to getting like a feat / power at one level, and I was like, none of them interest me. I've already got all the pilot ones, I've already got all the engineer ones that I want. And Johannes is like, well, have a look at this unique one, because that means you and the GM work out what's going on. And we came up with my character being like a secret Cylon, being like an AI. And on the last session of the campaign, we'd basically taken some nanobots out of like my character's body and like re-engineered them. And I'd programmed them so that when these nanobots got into someone, almost like the Borg, but they didn't like rewrite you physically. All they did was they rewrote your mind, so it was an exact copy of my mind in your original body.
All right.
So if I infected you, you'd be John, but still looking like Hannah, but mentally you'd be John.
Okay.
So, and the players were like, all right, okay, yeah, this is like our emergency like measure. Like, we're not just going to like, fire this off randomly. And then they left me sort of sat at the base, and they went away to do something. And they're on the comms to me, and they were like chatting away. And I can't remember what Dennis said, but Dennis said something. He was like the leader of the group. He said something that was basically like, oh, I don't think we've got much chance of getting out of this. And I was like, right, I understand. So fired this missile off. It hit the base, like sort of past the player characters who were headed towards the base. Hit the base, exploded. They got there and they were like, oh, because they didn't know where it come from. Like, oh, what's going on? There's like minimal damage. And when they turned up, all the people who'd been our enemies who were like inside were coming out, and they were like, oh, hello, how are you? Oh, it's good to see you all again, because they're all me. And then while they were dealing with that, like I accidentally, in inverted commas, like leaked a load of the rest of the nanobots into the base we were in, so that all of our people got reprogrammed to be me. And I was like, well, it's not my fault that like these humans obviously didn't load the canisters correctly. So we had like a sort of mini nano apocalypse at the end of the game, which was quite good fun. I enjoyed that.
Oh dear.
So that's it for this episode of Red Dice Diaries RPG podcast. We hope you've enjoyed our campfire stories, and we'll see you next time. If you want to get in touch with us, you can leave a voicemail using SpeakPipe, address in the episode description, or you can leave us an email. The address is rddrpgpodcast@gmail.com. Take care, stay safe, and keep gaming.